Let me share this to the book real quick. What's going on? We are back. And first of all, my apologies for not yet having the lapel mic. I did not have time to really go out and search for one the way I originally intended, for more equipment like things. At times I feel a little more comfortable purchasing in person, especially if it's, over $500. The last couple of cameras I brought, and my girl won't let me hear the end of it, between my eyeglass cameras, which I haven't even used yet, and I bought like a small GoPro, but around February I spent like over $500 on it. And I used the GoPro one time to record a show, and it just didn't come out the way I liked. That was a very expensive experiment. Still going to use it, but more or less, that's the one I want to hook up in the car to see how it looks. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I can get multiple angles when I shoot this. I'm gonna turn this whole thing within here to like a little studio when we drive it home. If y'all can hear the wind, please let me know. Nobody hopped in quite yet, but y'all will. But if y'all hear the wind, let me know so I can adjust it accordingly. I feel like I put my phone low enough. I feel like I put the phone low enough where there's no direct wind source hitting the microphone, which is at the bottom of the phone. The vent is definitely not on it. And from what I listened to yesterday, I didn't hear anything. So, fingers crossed. Hopefully it come out good. I see one person is in, and that's all I need. Whatever people want to hear, if people want to get caught up, all you got to do, I think you should be able to rewind, go back to the replay. You know what I mean? What up, JR Junior? Y'all need to start getting name handles that are easy to read. I'm just call you Junior 12. Because y'all be having these names. I try to take a look at it real quick because I wanna shout out the people that's hopping in. But if I'm on the road driving, it's bad enough I shouldn't be reading while I'm driving. Now y'all got names that's not even legible. Come on now. Make yourself more legible. I can't read what your name is. It's bad enough I gotta wear these reader glasses. If I took these glasses off, this phone, that looked like a complete blur. I can't see nothing. I gotta put these back on. That's called eyeballs. My eyeballs are on the verge of having experienced 48 years of existence outside of the womb. And I started noticing my eyesight getting a little fuzzy when I was 37. That's when I started getting like a little bit more sensitive to light. That's when I started getting more sensitive to light. But it's one of them things, it was just a gradual degradation of the visuals, But like I said in an old podcast, man, sometimes like we look at ourselves getting older and certain physical limitations as a limitation, when we should really see it as an opportunity to focus on other senses and maximize other senses. Like the analogy I use, Ray Charles wasn't born blind. I think Ray Charles went blind at 6 years old. So even though his ability of sight was totally diminished, he greatly increased his sense of hearing, sense of touch, sense of taste. And I'm not saying I want to get to that point where I can't see anything, but when you get limitations in certain things, it makes you overcompensating in other ways that could actually be beneficial for yourself. And Red Alert, man, stop with this blind gamer, man. There's no blind gamer joke. There is no blind Red Alert, man. Every day you always hop in there saying that foolishness, man. I'm not gonna drive on the highway and do a joke where I pretend like I'm playing a video game blind. For me to drive and still pay attention to the road while pretending like I'm blind playing a video game at the same time, if I could do that, I am the greatest actor on earth. I can't do that. I can't even, I don't even know how to pretend like I'm blind while I'm driving. I don't know, man. You're gonna have to let that request die. Now, if I was parked, I could do it. But while I'm driving, that's just not a joke. That's yeah. That's not a joke I'm willing to attempt to pull off, man. It ain't worth it. Listen, I like my jokes. I like performing as much as the next man. But I don't intend for today to be my last performance. Now this right here is peppermint oil. I do a lot of fasting in between meals. I don't do snacking. You're not going to see me snacking as much. I've come to the conclusion that when it comes to eating, we should respect the sanctity of eating as much as we respect the sanctity of sleep. Meaning, if you can do so, we're to a point where you are totally focused on your meal, you ain't looking at your phone, you're not multitasking, and you are giving the undivided attention to your meal, which is giving the maximum amount of energy and focus to your digestion. That's what I'm on right now. But I do get my little cravings. And so I put a lot of oil peppermint. I put a lot of peppermint oil in. That's ridiculous. So to help stay, and I'm gonna buy some more. We going a big wow today. To help stave off those cravings, man. Mint toothpicks, peppermint oil in the water. Sometimes those Listerine strips, I can't find. I bought like 3 of them, can't find them. But something like this will help take away my craving for the next hour or so until I get home. Plus, when you aren't chewing, when you aren't snacking as much, your mouth doesn't produce as much enzymes that fight breath and bacteria, so you don't chew as much. So it's more bacteria in your mouth, and you tend to get that faster's breath. You know what I mean? This tastes delicious. This is nice and minty. But this right here, it's like I'm drinking man, that's good. Like a liquid mint, your peppermint patty. It has 0 calories and just a little peppermint oil. My mouth, it's on a cool, it feels like the Arctic inside my teeth. I can feel the coolness trickling down my esophagus, coating my belly, and I'm not giving myself any unnecessary carbs. Yep, I put the Alex, yeah, I put a couple of droplets of peppermint oil in the water, because sometimes water tastes a little bit stale. What you want to do is you want to put a pinch of salt that gives it electrolytes that helps the water dissolve into your blood cells faster, makes you absorb the water better. A lot of times we drink a lot of water, but if it doesn't have electrolytes in it, it doesn't dissolve as efficiently in your bloodstream, and what happens is it flows through your kidneys a lot faster, and you waste a lot of water. So put a pinch of salt so the water can absorb better. Put a little bit of peppermint oil, peppermint leaves or whatever to give it like a little freshness to make it interesting. Or you could use a little lemon. Hey, you could put a little mint leaves and put a little lime. Then you got yourself a little fake faux mojito. You know what I mean? And for some reason, me saying faux mojito makes me want to eat a fajita because I am hungry. But I'm gonna tell you like this, y'all. I pretty much had a pot belly my whole life. Even when I was in shape, running track, winning track meets, and getting a state letter jacket. The letter is somewhere in my house. I don't know where it's at. When I was a top city athlete, I still had a pot belly. Why? Because I was always snacking. Snacking is the worst thing that you could do for your digestive system, man. It's the worst thing because when you're snacking, it's a thing called the MMC, the motor memory complex or something like that. And that's the thing that sends impulses to your small intestines to move out waste. When you are chewing, that action does not happen. Instead, your body's trying to digest food instead of cleaning out the waste. And since I've been doing that, since I've been fasting in between, my body's been cleaning out way more waste, years and years and years of bacteria have been flushed. You gotta realize, you know what I'm saying? Your small intestines, the amount of small intestines in your body, your large intestines is as tall as you are. So if you're 6 feet tall, you have 6 feet of large intestines, right? Your small intestines is 5 times your height. So if you're 6 feet tall, you got 30 feet of small intestines. That's why when you get a colonoscopy, the instruments, they don't go through their small intestine. They don't go that far. So any type of bad bacteria or anything like that, the colonoscopy only registers what's in your large intestines, your colon, not your small intestine. But since I've been doing this, old waste that's probably been fermenting and stuck way up in my small intestines for years and years and years is finally starting to clean out. My gut's starting to get smaller. My energy levels are going up. I'm spending less time in the bathroom. Now, I know this is gross, but yo, we're gonna have a grown man conversation. My stool is no longer liquidy. It's starting to become more solid and soft. Still got work to do. Still stuff up in there. But it's nowhere near as bad as it was weeks ago. I finally cracked the code. Don't eat between meals. No matter how much you want to. The key is, once it's meal time, whatever you're going to eat your food, eat your appetizer, eat your dessert, eat your snack. You got to eat everything within that meal. But don't overdo it. You know, keep your portions pedestrian. And then once you've done that last morsel, you don't eat anything else for 4.5, at least 3 hours. You don't eat nothing else. It takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours for that MMC. Look it up. For the MMC to kick in. And that's, like I said, that's the impulse that flushes out your small intestines of any extra added waste of the food into your colon. And then your colon starts to, you see, when it flushes that out in your small intestines, it flushes it out in a liquid form. The fiber adds bulk to that liquid, and that's what creates the stool. You know? But if it rushes the liquid too fast, doesn't get a chance for the fiber onto it, that's when you get diarrhea. And if it takes too long for the liquid to come out, if it's not enough water, that's when you get constipation. My body is finally starting to regulate itself. And on top of me not eating in between my meals, I don't eat anything between my meals. I make sure when I eat my actual meal, I'm not driving, I'm not walking, I'm not watching television. I'm literally just focusing only on the meal, appreciating the flavors, imagining where it came from, imagining the positive things that it's doing for my body, and giving my digestive tract and my digestive system complete attention, giving it as much resources and attention as possible to digest the food most as efficiently as it can. Because when you're driving and when you're eating, yes, you're digesting, but you're giving your attention to the road. You're giving more energies to your reflexes and being cognizant and conscious of all the dangers around you. But when you sitting and could just chill and focus on what you're eating, now all that energy that you would have been put into paying attention to the road and basically staying safe and not dying is being put into your meal, into your digestion. And that's when we're going to see the results. I think I cracked the code to my weight loss. And obviously you got to do calisthenics and work out. You got to do that. But beyond that, it's what you put into your body, man. And it's how you appreciate what you put into your body. And constantly drinking water. Yo, minty water is the bomb. Y'all don't understand. This is so taking away my craving, man. But I can still feel the weakness in my body. The liver's necessary enzyme used to break down fat and convert it into energy. And when those ketones, those enzymes start breaking down the fat, that's when the belly starts to shrink. The belly's already shrinking because the toxins and chemicals in my small intestine that cause the bloating and gas are starting to come down. But then when I'm starting to go into ketosis, which I feel right now, I feel the weakness in me, that's what starts attacking those fats. So I just gave y'all a little system of what I'm doing with my body. I'm respecting my eating time by not doing anything else but eating when I eat. And I eat whatever I want to eat within that time, and obviously don't overeat. And try to stay away from processed foods as much as I can. And when that eating is done, I don't eat anything, period. Focus on my breathing, in my nose, out the mouth, in my nose. Let the diaphragm fill up, not the chest, but the diaphragm fill up, out the mouth. Consciously breathe, think positive thoughts. Repeat cycle. I don't do anything. I got one. I think Red Alert Man, for some reason, I think you are my doctor friend. Hey, Red Alert Man, is this Matt? Is that Matt Jones? I think Red Alert Man is Matt Jones for some strange reason. I think he is. Is Matt Jones always following me? That's the homie from ECSU. I think Matt Jones is my doctor friend. But a lot of stuff, you figure out, like, doctors don't really teach you nothing. Doctors don't really tell you nothing. All doctors pretty much do is prescribe you medicine that can temporarily help you. Like when they prescribe me Linzess, which is a pill that stimulates intestinal contractions to push through waste. That's a temporary fix. It doesn't cure the underlying problem. It doesn't cure the fact that I wasn't getting enough fiber. It doesn't cure the fact that my gut biome was all messed up because I was taking so many enemas, washing away the natural bacteria, washing away the probiotics. Probiotics are enzymes inside your gut that help break down food. Doctors don't really tell you that. That's something you got to figure out. Doctors are going to give you Linzess. They're going to tell you to take Metamucil. Metamucil basically adds bulk to your stool, which bulks up your feces, so that wrong answer. It bulks up your feces so that because basically your feces needs bulk in order for your intestinal lining to push it out. That's so it can hold on and push it out. If it's purely liquid, it's like trying to push water with your bare hands. It won't work. But if that water starts clumping up to mud, you can push it out with your hands. And that's what Metamucil does. It bulks it up. But if you take too much Metamucil and you're not taking enough water, that creates constipation. And then Miralax brings a lot of water to your intestines. But if it's not bulked up, doesn't matter. You still can't push it out. I'm off both of that. I'm off the Miralax, and I take micro doses of Metamucil, just a tiny, tiny pinch of Metamucil, because I don't get enough fiber the way I should get it. And we're going to see how it's going to go down. But doctors ain't really teach me this. Doctors just gave me a prescription. I figured this out in my body, man. I figured out the MMC. I figured that out myself through AI, to be honest with you. I was telling AI, will ketosis help like my IBS go away? And it says not directly, indirectly. Ketosis will make you burn away the fat, but it also because you're fasting, it activates your MMC, which pushes your intestines to help your small intestines to help push that waste and that bacteria through, which if left in your small intestines causes fermentation, which causes gas, which causes bloating, which causes the sharp pains in your abdomen, which make you feel sick. I figured this out myself. No doctor told me this. I figured this out. And it's paying dividends and it's working wonderfully. Now we going like that's my rant. That's my rant for now. We gonna get into what I want to talk about for this afternoon. Gotta silence the noise. And let me know if it sounds windy. None of y'all complained about it sounding like an airplane, so I'm thinking that I have my phone in the right position. But you gotta silence the noise. See, y'all too young, but in the 80s, we didn't have that many channels. So after a time, like 2 or 3 in the morning, the television would go completely white, grainy, and it would make this sound. Very annoying, or some people like to sleep to that sound. But when you hear that static, when you hear that noise, what do? You turn off the TV. Same thing. When you're going through your radio stations and one radio station is real staticky, real noisy, real annoying, not pleasing to the ear, you turn it off. And I think a lot of us in life, especially in this age of social media and fear-mongering news stations, we forget to silence the noise, yo. You don't have to watch negative news 24/7. You don't have to doom scroll 24/7. Sometimes you gotta silence that. You gotta turn off that noise. You have to give your brain an opportunity to reboot. Just like I silence the noise of my digestion by not eating for 4 hours, giving my intestines the opportunity for the MMC to kick in and start pushing out the waste. Sometimes we gotta silence the noise of all this negativity in the world. No matter how much you consume this negative news, this negative politics, unless you are actually in government, unless you are actually in the Middle East, unless you are actually wherever any of these negative things are going on, watching it over and over again and being sad about it all the time, being pissed off all the time, letting it control your emotions, letting it dictate your attitude, letting it dictate your opinion about friends and others. It does not change anything. It only, yes, be aware of what's going on, but after a while, silence that noise. Focus on, you probably got so many physical things that are wrong with you. You probably got so many things in your life that need addressing, that you can actually use the time that you doom scroll and constantly watch negative television all the time and constantly be upset. You can use your energy and your focus, at least a portion of your energy and your focus, towards something that's actually beneficial in your life, towards something that's positive. For all the negative things that you look at, for all the negative things that you share on Facebook, how often do you share something that you love? How often do you share something that's positive? How often do you share a friend's business, something positive that they're sharing and they're talking about? How often do you share a positive scripture, a positive surah, a positive philosophical saying or phrase? How often do you do that? You always negative, constantly doom scrolling. I'm mad at this politician. I'm pissed off. Oh my God, how could he do this? But how is saying, oh my God, over and over again, helping and benefiting your life in any way, shape, form, or fashion, if you are only complaining and not doing anything about it? If your breath stinks and you constantly just complaining about how much your breath stinks, does that make your breath smell better? No. until you get some toothpaste, until you get some toothbrush, until you get mouthwash, until you get floss, your breath always going to be funky. And as a matter of fact, your breath gets more funky when it's funky and you're just talking and talking and complaining and complaining. You're talking and complaining about politicians and the state of the world every single day. It's not making anything in your personal world better. It's only making things in your world worse. Sometimes you got to turn off the noise. Sometimes you got to give it silence. You listening to me right now, giving you positive information and giving you just a positive way of looking at things, is a silence to the negativity that you're used to listening to every single day. Silence the noise. It's all about improving you. It's all about having a more elevated mindset. Yes, be aware of what's going on. Yes, be conscious of it. But it doesn't have to be the first thing you listen to in the first part of the day, in the middle of the day, before you get off work, once you get home, while you're eating, before you go to bed, in the middle of the night when you take a piss. You can turn these things off at times. Silence the noise. And I don't just apply to stuff that you watch on television. Sometimes it's your friends. You got friends that always call you, always want to talk about negative stuff. Woe is me. I give pushback, man. Now my friends are always trying to be negative. Always, nah, man, yeah, that's cool, but you know what? This is the positive spin on that. Do we only want to revel in the negativity and not think of the positive lessons that we've learned? Certain things that happen in our life. Yes, life is not fair. Yes, unfair things happen all the time. But positive lessons can be learned in these unfair things, and we can apply it to our lives. Sometimes if something real bad, negative happens to you, if you can react to that with resilience and not let it destroy you mentally, as long as it doesn't completely obliterate you physically, yes, you may be getting the raw end of the deal, but somebody else may look at your resilience. Somebody else may look at your resilience, and your resilience gave them the proper inspiration to rise out of whatever thing that they're going through. We're all connected. The atoms that compose us, I say this over again, are as old as the atoms in the universe, man. We are 70% water. Water never ends. Water just rains, goes to the earth, feeds the earth, things grow out, it evaporates, goes back to the sky, repeat cycle. We talk about, when we die, we want to go to heaven. We kind of all do go to heaven because all atoms eventually dissipate and go back to the sky and then redistribute and become something else. The Bible and all of these esoteric writings, they were just metaphorically explaining the cycle of rain. That's all it is. We 70% water. We follow the same cycle, or either it's a circle or it's an 8. We follow that same cycle, man. We got to turn off the noise, man. Gotta silence the noise, yo. Whenever you feel stressed out, like I said, you gotta silence your friends. If a certain friend, every time they call you, and it's always, man, woe is me, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes you gotta screen that call. Or sometimes every time they say something negative, give them a positive pushback. Every single time. We gotta be different, man. Silence the noise. It ain't gonna be no jokes today. That's just my advice. And sometimes, and I say this to myself every day. Like every day that I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I turn on some positive affirmations for like 30 minutes or so. This is my routine. Then once I get in my car, I take like a nice little picture of myself. Then I tell AI to make like a Facebook flyer for like the podcast I'm going to do later on in the day. Then I'll listen to my podcast a little bit from the night before. See if it triggers any inspiration for the current day show. And most of the time it does. And once it does, I get the idea of what I want the title of the show to be for the current day. Then, I'll go to work. I get set up for work. And I work on the road, so I'm constantly on the road. so I can listen to my phone constantly. Then sometimes I want to hear the bullshit. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I'll throw in some relationship podcasts with people arguing. I think it's funny. It serves as intelligent entertainment for me. So I might throw in some Andrew Wilson or some Tommy Sotomayor, some Mr. Fantastic, some Angry Man, some Joe Rogan, whatever. You know what I mean? I call that some Star Report, some Hassan Campbell. I call it the bullshit. I throw in the bullshit a little bit. Then when I get tired of the bullshit, I might throw in some Alan Watts or some Carl Jung or some Neville Goddard. I might throw in some Shaman Durek. That's a shaman that's currently alive right now, and me and him, I see eye to eye with this dude mentally so much. It's insane, and I love listening to him. It's like almost listening to myself when I listen to him. So I might throw in some Shaman Durek, but sometimes I might get tired of the philosophy. I get bored by the philosophy, so I switch on to some music. You know what I'm saying? I might switch on to some R&B or some some gospel. You know what I'm saying? Might throw in some 90s alternative, might throw in some classic rock, whatever. I get tired of that. I want to hear the bullshit again. I'll throw in some Tommy Sotomayor, whatever. And as it clear, one of my homies might call me. My boy Gary Alexis called me all the time. He's a comedian that's going to be headlining my show this Saturday at the Elmo Room, West Hartford, Connecticut, 986 Farmington Avenue. If you are in the area and if you want tickets, it is aprilfoolishness.eventbrite.com. That's aprilfoolishness.eventbrite.com. My homie Gary Alexis usually call me every day. We workshop jokes and things of that nature. He's a regular at the Funny Bone in Manchester, Connecticut. It's called the Funny Bone Hartford, but it's really in Manchester, Connecticut. He's a regular there. He's going to be closing it out. Annie Banani from Cape Cod will be featuring with special guest comedian Dan Brown. He pretty much started comedy when I started. We both going on 13 years doing it, so it's going to be a hell of a show. But anyway, I might workshop some stuff with Gary. My boy Keenan Floyd may call me from LA. You know what I'm saying? Every now and again, my boy Lawrence Owens from DC. He's another comedian. He don't like me calling him. He doesn't like me calling him my comedic mentor. So that's one of my OGs in comedy. Every now and again, he'll call me. We'll workshop some stuff. And then when it gets close to the end of my shift, I already have an idea of what I want to talk about on my podcast. I take the same Facebook graphic that I made earlier. I tell AI to convert it into a YouTube thumbnail. I put the thumbnail in. I fire up the live. You know what I mean? I fire up the live. I share it to Facebook so those that are on Facebook can come over. You know, and yo, sub to my channel. If anybody want to send a donation, the Cash App is in there. It's $ Mo Green 79, whatever. It's in the description. You know what I'm saying? Help me upgrade the equipment if I can. And then I go live. And that's pretty much my day. That is the process, man. I'm getting away from processed red meat in the morning. AI gave me a great idea of how to make turkey maple sausages. So I'm going to get some ground chicken. I'm going to get some ground turkey. It said get some fennel, get some sage, a little salt, a little pepper, make my sausage balls, put like a splash of maple syrup. So I'm going to get some maple syrup. I'm going to get some sage. I'm going to get, I got salt, I got pepper. I got that salt, pepper, maple syrup, sage, fennel, and what else? Ground turkey. I'm going to try both. I'm going to try ground turkey. I'm going to try ground chicken. I'm going to make myself some sausage balls. I'm going to sear them very, very good into patties. And because I need my breakfast sausage in the morning, but I'm tired of doing this processed stuff that really, really wrecks my stomach. If you want to change, you got to do different things. And the fact that I'm starting to feel better by doing these different things, it excites me. It makes me want to do more things for my body. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm not going to take it on the store with me because I don't want to, because I got to put the phone case. You see how scratchy this phone case is. I'm never broadcasting with this on anymore when I do the tap in podcast. I ain't doing that. But that's pretty much all I wanted to say to you guys, man. I had a wonderful time. What kind of cookies I eat? I no longer, well, I'm not gonna lie. I do got some Girl Scout cookies. They're mint thins. They're processed. But besides that, I always buy freshly baked cookies from the store. Either they have M&Ms in them, or they'll be oatmeal raisin, or they'll be macadamia. I strict, besides these Girl Scout cookies, this is my last process that I'm doing in a while. I always do freshly baked cookies. I'll do freshly baked cakes. I eat cinnamon oat Cheerios in the morning with almond milk. I'm switching it all up. I eat my apples. I eat my grapes. I'm switching it all up, man. I want to, for these, I'm 47 years old, for the duration of my physical existence, I want this to be much more optimal. I'm going to be traveling all over the world a lot more. And it sucks to try to travel when you're limping and your stomach hurting and you got to poop so much and you're feeling all uncomfortable. So we're going to optimize. We are optimizing this temple. We're doing the best. You see, I got my chakras, my chakra bracelet. Actually, one of my comedy OGs, Marshall Brandon, who tours with Dave Chappelle a couple years back, his wife, she sells these chakra bracelets. I forget her name. So I've been rocking this lately. You know what I'm saying too? Like, you know, it's all symbolic. And I like it. And this rubber band I got on my wrist, it's We Are Laughs. I did a comedy show, and this is one of the gifts that they gave us. I kind of like rocking these wristbands. There's something about it that makes me feel like I don't know. Give me this feeling like these are my gauntlets right here. You know, these are my spiritual gauntlets that I have on. You know, along with this, I rock this because I don't have hair, but I sweat a lot. So this contains my sweat. And it kind of makes me look like a Sufi, especially with the toothpick. I look like an imam, even though I'm not. But maybe on some esoteric level, I am. You know what I'm saying? I look, you know, I kind of like a Muslim, whatever. Maybe I'm a Muslim in spirit. All Muslims say we're all Muslims. That's what they say. You know what I'm saying? So to all my young and upper comedians, there is no such thing as writer's block. If you don't have anything coming to you, if the comedy guys are not giving you anything new to write, that is their way of saying to work on the things that they already gave you. Stay away from the negativity, stay away from the nonsense, stay away from the rumors, stay away from the BS. Focus on the funny. You understand what I'm saying? And lead with love. Life is not something that is happening to you. Life is an experience that your higher self chose to experience in its earthly form until it's time to evaporate back into the atmosphere, occupy something else, and have another experience in another existence. Peace. Hashtag everybody need more green. I'll holler at y'all. See y'all tomorrow. Silence the noise.